Yeah.
In order.
That's
Stand
the
for the
problem.
pledge. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Be seated.
Yeah. Guess we got enough for a meeting, huh?
Barely. Aye.
Okay, Bailey, present. Brylet.
Present.
Mr. Dupuy.
Here.
Mr. Mahaffey. Mr. Schmidt. Mr. Swartz. Mr. Levady. Yes. And Mr. Richards.
Here. I'd like to welcome you aboard, John.
Thank
It's your first official meeting in a long time.
It has.
Okay. Any correspondence, Bob?
No.
Okay. Georgia is supposed to be here, but she isn't here, so. We got meeting minutes here.
Yep.
Everybody got copies of them?
Anybody need a copy of the June? Al?
I have them at home. That's good. Huh? I have one.
So you keep yours.
I move to approve the minutes of June 26th.
Second it.
Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carried. We're open to comments from the citizens. Anybody got anything you wish to talk about?
Yeah.
I
I want to know what your issues are with me, if there
don't
is.
have any issues with you.
Well, I'm just asking. That's why I'm here,
Okay.
to find out.
Go to the Township Board of Trustees, talk to them. Okay, first thing on the agenda tonight is election of officers. We need a chair, assistant chair, and secretary.
I move to elect Paul Richards, chairman.
I move to elect Mahaffey as vice.
Second, we're just doing one?
Oh,
Yeah.
no, I guess we should.
Well,
I'll second your motion. Al.
are you gonna let him addendum, put that addendum on your motion?
No, I'll retract mine.
Let's, okay.
So are you supporting mine or?
I'll second it.
Okay.
Okay. Any other motions for chair? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye?
Aye.
Okay. Assistant chair, vice chair,
Okay.
chairman and vice, however we're gonna say it.
I'm sure he'd be defended for that. I nominate Mahaffey for chair, assistant.
Any second?
Is there anybody else that's interested in being?
Yeah,
Vice chair.
next. Any other motions?
No, I'm just curious, like, you know,
Are you interested?
no, I don't,
No?
I was wondering about you though.
Well, I can't, so,
You can't?
no,
Okay.
I'm a township board member.
I'll second
Okay.
Todd.
Any other motions? All in favor? Okay, I'm gonna put a condition on this. It's gotta be accepted by Todd.
Okay.
Okay.
Wait till
That's what he
second.
gets for not being here.
Yeah. Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye?
Aye.
Okay, motion carried. Secretary,
I move to nominate Bob Bailey. He's doing a great job he's doing.
Mhm.
I second that, yeah.
okay. Any other motions on secretary? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thanks, Bob. Welcome aboard.
Bob, you've done a good job. I just wanted to put that out there. You've done a great job, so.
Thank you.
Okay, Bob has passed out a proposed change of the
I didn't
meeting
pass it out
nights,
yet.
other than the January one, which is a little screwed up. We want to go back to the first Tuesday of the month, because I have trouble figuring out which one worked Tuesday.
I think we have more people show up on the first Tuesdays than we do on the last, actually.
22.
Yeah. And we'd have to change the January 2nd to the January 8th. Because January 1st is, change January 22nd to January 8th, because the 1st is, of course,
New Year's.
New Year's Day, and I know I won't be here.
Is that for our first meeting in 2013 that you're talking?
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd have to be January 8th instead of,
Okay, and that's a for sure change?
right,
Okay,
which would also be our next meeting.
so January 8th.
Works for me.
Any motion on it?
I'll make a motion to approve the regular meeting schedule 2013,
Okay.
2014. You need to change it at the top.
With the
The,
edited.
the regular meeting schedule, 2012, 2013, should be right here. Bob.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I just noticed it as I was reading it, so.
Okay, we'll fix that.
With the January 8th.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
All right.
Opposed? Motion carried.
The first Tuesday.
Okay. The other two items we got here is new ordinances that I've been asked to talk about. One, Mark Harrington wishes to have some type of fire ordinance because the state one isn't adequate. I understand the state ordinance was just revised, so I will see if I can get a copy of that from Mark, have him review it, and then maybe he can be here at next meeting and we can discuss it.
Yeah, the problem, the sheriff's department says they can't enforce illegal burning and stuff unless we have an ordinance. They say they can't enforce the state ordinance, which is totally wrong. If they can't enforce the state ordinance, they can't write speeding tickets.
Right, they can
They're
enforce
all
any state law then.
You know,
Yeah.
They just don't want to do it?
they just
or-
don't want to do it. They don't really have time to do it, I don't think.
And
You
that's
know, we
going
can sit here
to,
and make all the rules we want, but
right, so that's not going to change if we
Can't
make our
enforce them.
ordinance.
I will also put a call into Tim Donlin and see what his thoughts are on this.
It's just for like bonfires or what?
No, not bonfires.
Don't we have to get a burning permit though for?
yeah. The problem is that a lot of people will burn when they shouldn't burn.
Without a permit, is that what you're
Well,
saying?
even if they get a permit sometimes, you know, then the neighbor's mad because the
Smoke's
the
going.
wind's coming and the smoke's coming right in their house, you know, it's a beautiful summer day or
How-
whatever.
Are you talking about burning leaves too?
Leaves, yeah, he's talking about it all, I do believe.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
Well,
Good to bear in mind, we're still
I
agricultural
just keep saying, we just go by the state.
Mm-hmm.
Does the state,
Agricultural is exempt though, right?
pardon me?
Agriculture
Agricultural is exempt.
to some,
Farms
de-
are under
to,
camps.
s- yeah, to some degree, there's,
but they still have to get a burning permit?
no,
No,
actually,
they
no.
don't need a building
And
permit.
nobody has to when there's snow on it.
Out at Wingford, they always get a burning permit.
Well, Ralph's just a good guy.
Well, I was, you know, they do, so.
Well, the other question
It's easy,
is,
though.
okay,
They're free.
if you get the ordinance, who's gonna enforce it? How's it gonna be enforced, you know? I can't see Mark running around the township watching for fires.
Well, he's saying the sheriff's department will enforce it. Bill Ainsworth burnt that barn down here,
Yeah.
was that last fall, or the fall, I don't remember what, you know, had a big party, they had a big pile of brush, they had that old barn in it, it really didn't hurt a thing, but Mark got the police out there and we put it out because they didn't have a permit.
Would that cover like bonfires too, or is that not like anything?
I thought it said bonfires weren't included in that.
Probably just depends on the size.
Okay.
There'd
Tell
probably
me,
be something.
tell me how Mark got the,
That's what I was gonna ask.
the legal, ability to put that fire out.
Because it was considered, because it was.
Open burning without a permit.
Well, no, they were burning building materials, because they were burning fire.
Oh.
You can't burn
Not even to
straight
keep warm,
building materials.
if you're constructing.
He's
worker?
agricultural up there now.
I don't,
I'm just curious, I wonder how you.
ask Mark, you know, I don't.
Well, generally it has to do with household trash.
Yeah.
I have the whole thing right here. Yeah, it's just health risk of burning trash, no plastics, no tires, no this, no that.
No shingles.
Do you need a
No
permit to have a
shingles.
campfire in your
Yeah.
backyard?
In Burtchville Township, no.
What's that?
No.
No.
No. Do you need a permit to have a bonfire in your backyard?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I would hope not.
But
Now,
how big of a
how big of a fire do you
Well-
have in Burtchville Township?
Well, that's the problem, and that's the problem, Mark.
There's
You
no
know,
written ordinance.
I'm gonna try and defend Mark a little bit, I mean, I fight against him on having a township ordinance all the time, but he ends up out here with a squabble because Paul Murphy's mad at you because you're burning, in your yard, and it's blowing in his yard, you know what I'm saying? I'm just using
I
it for an
don't burn.
example. I understand, but I'm just saying, that it's just neighborhood squabbles is what it is, and
Let me give you a classic example. I had a bunch of brush behind my house, behind my shop before I had my wood chip where I burned a brush. I had a burning permit. Mark Harrington showed up, right?
if you had a burning permit, there's nothing you can do about it.
He showed up.
you know.
But you guys burned Vinnie's, the house next to Vinnie's, on a Sunday.
Fire department did.
Fire department did, and you had a permit, right? There was multiple cars that stopped on the side of the road, there was damn near accidents, and I was at my shop getting smoked out, and Mark Harrington told me we had a permit.
You had a permit.
No, you guys had
Oh,
a
we
permit. But I burned brush at my shop, and they come over there with the fire department. And I had a burn permit, you were there, cause they said, you were there because you were the first one in there and you said you had a report of a structure fire. I was burning brush out back.
Oh, that was quite a few years ago.
Yes, and I had a permit.
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, you had a permit.
You were the first one down the driveway.
And you were allowed to burn it.
And I had a permit, and a fire department
You had
showed
a
up.
permit and you were allowed to burn it.
Right.
So that's what's so crazy about some of these people. If Ainsworth would have got a permit the Thursday before the office closed on a Friday night or Saturday night, there's nothing Mark could have done. And the permit's for free. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, but if the permit is free and they would've gave it to them, why the fire department even waste their time going out there spending the money? Township's taxpayers' money.
because somebody's flying by your place 70 mile an hour and they seen a fire. That's why, when they called it.
Hey, I got another thing for you. I had somebody from the state of Michigan show up my shop a few years ago. Somebody filed a formal complaint against me about my wood burner. A guy from Lansing showed up
Nothing they can do about it.
in a state vehicle. He sat out front of my shop for 15 minutes. I had a fire going in my wood burner. I was starting my trucks up. 15 minutes later, he come walking down my driveway with a state ID tag down to here, and he said he was from the state of Michigan, and he had a formal complaint written against me by one of my neighbors, and I asked him, what neighbors? And I says, about what? And he pointed at my wood burner and says, about your wood burner. I says, every other farmer out in the country's got one of these. He looked at it, he checked it out, he says, I talked to him for 45 minutes, he didn't have a problem with it. He said if anybody else filed a formal complaint against me, he's got it on file.
Okay,
But he says that if you're smoking your neighbor out or you're a nuisance, the state of Michigan can shut you down, the Air Quality Division.
Really? I didn't think we
And
could.
that came from a guy from Lansing.
Right, well, sorry.
okay. Want to move along. I will talk to Tim Donlin and I'll talk to Mark, unless you want to talk to him on the new ordinance.
No, you can.
Okay. And the other thing is, I've been asked, we need to take a look at noise ordinance, and it pertains to some big party that was over in North Lakeport everybody got in a big titter about 1:30 in the morning or something like that. The sheriff department showed up. Supposedly, everybody showed up the next board of trustees meeting, I don't know.
There were two girls.
That's,
You want me to fill you in on it?
That's the one that we
Yeah,
know.
there were two girls, and evidently there's a band next door, and they just can't, get them to stop. And, you know, the more they ask, the louder they play, and the longer they go.
We're back to neighbors fighting with neighbors again.
Neighbors fighting with neighbors.
Nothing in the ordinance that we make is gonna do anything about that.
Well, the sheriff can't do it, same thing with the burning, up until now, the state now gives the local authorities the ability to write a ticket on trash. If there's a local ordinance, they can write a ticket. There's no
There is
local
a local
ordinance.
ordinance
Pardon?
already, there is one already.
Not on noise.
Oh, yes, there is. It's in that blue book, probably around page 28 or 26.
Well, the blue book's history.
Okay, but wasn't everything adopted from the blue book up?
No.
No, not necessarily.
I mean, I did a search on the
Yeah.
entire file and I couldn't find anything
Well, you used to
on
have one
noise.
on Norris.
Yeah.
Noise on it.
You're talking about this last blue book?
I'm talking from 76 to 84. It was in there, and I can't remember the decibels because we had a problem in Lakeport here.
Well, we had the lawyer here, earlier in the year for the noise ordinance, and he basically said there's nothing we can do about it.
Yeah. What's his name here, too, the sheriff?
Because we had complaints about Bill Ainsworth motocross track, and I remember he came here and he talked to us and he said, you know, there's just nothing that you can write up that will stop. He said the only way you're gonna stop that is if the sheriff deems it a traffic hazard with the cars parking their trailers out on the road. He said that's the only way that we could do anything about the noise, and it actually had nothing to do with the noise, it had to do with the hazards of the parking. I mean, he sat right here and told us that, you know, we couldn't do anything about it, no matter what we wrote up.
Yep.
So,
That's what the sheriff's department said, or?
no, that was our lawyer, our township lawyer that was here, that came for just.
I missed that meeting, so.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically this is an exercise in futility.
Well, according to him it was, so, but, you know,
Maybe you should give Doug a call.
I will do that.
I mean, am I not remembering that
No,
properly?
that's
Because,
basically the way I remember. That's why I didn't do nothing before.
right, okay.
We just let it go, but then, that's been a while ago though.
Was it, I thought it was this summer, was it last summer?
I think it was last one.
Last summer, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
We didn't meet much, well, we didn't meet at all since June, so.
Okay, yeah, I just remember the whole thing, so, because we actually did we have an ordinance before us? And he just said that, I mean, I can look through my files here, but,
You're referring to two?
yeah. And actually, he was here for something else though, wasn't he? But then he got dragged into the noise ordinance. I forget what he was here for, was it?
I think he was here the same time Wilson was.
No, maybe it was for our blight ordinance that he was here.
I don't remember.
Okay. Well, I'll talk to Doug Toom on that and it maybe end up being a dead issue real quick. I made a mistake, I skipped over comments from the citizens. Is there any comments from the citizens on something pertaining to the planning commission? Okay. No comments, I will accept a motion to close this meeting then.
I'll make a motion to close.
Second. Support.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Go home.